Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 5th year anniversary live stream Q&A. I want to know how everybody is doing, if you guys can hear me okay. If not, then please let me know in the chat. So yeah, this is a big momentous occasion. I'm really excited about holding in this excuse me, holding this live stream Q&A for all to hear. Hi everybody, how's it going? Hello there, Nickelodeon Gamer. Hi, Miranda Hernandez. Hello, Dipper. Hello, Brendan. Hello, Pocketbook. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, we actually have a few people here. Awesome. Anyway, so, yeah, I can't believe it. 5 years ago, as of this day, we started the Old School Lane blog. Hi, Ben. How's it going? So, yeah, I just can't believe it. It's been 5 years since Old School Lane first started. Hi, Joshua. How's it going? So yeah, I'm sure you guys already know the story, but basically it all started when Kevin and I were going through kind of like our low phase, and we needed something to perk us up. And so we thought, you know what, let's throw in a blog together and let's talk about our favorite things. And so, yeah, I mean, at this point, we just did a few blogs here and there, and we did the podcast about a year after, and then afterwards, we just became where we are now. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting about where the rest of Old School Lane will be another 5 years from now. Brendan asks, what is your favorite Angry Beavers episode? I'm not sure. I need to rewatch Angry Beavers again to definitely get myself refreshed in my mind about what my favorite episode is. I'll definitely get back to you on that, Brendan. Let's see. A Pocketbook asks, did you hear that Netflix purchased the rights to Miraculous Ladybug? Now it's going to be a Netflix original series. It's not going to be a Nickelodeon anymore. No, I did not hear about that. So, what do you know? Netflix is going to have the rights to Miraculous Ladybug. Well, okay, that should be really interesting. I mean, Netflix has done really well with some animated shows exclusive to Netflix. I mean, we've had the new Voltron cartoon, BoJack Horseman, and F is for Family. So now it's going to be Netflix exclusive, Miraculous Ladybug. Maybe more people actually discover it. But it's funny because on my recent trip to Paradise City Comic Con, I actually saw a person cosplay as Miraculous Ladybug, which is pretty awesome. Oh, they didn't buy it. They bought the streaming rights. Okay. Well, I mean, you know what I mean, but it's not going to be aired on a Nickelodeon anymore, but I get what you're saying. Okay. Let's see. What did you think of Nickelodeon's new animated TV movie, Albert? I saw it a few days ago, and I thought it was pretty cute. It was very cute and enjoyable, and it was very nice. I have to say that there were some things about it that I wasn't too crazy about, like let's see, there were some jokes here and there that I wasn't really too crazy about, but other than that, it was pretty enjoyable. I mean, it was very sweet, it was very nice, so yeah, it was not bad. It was pretty good. Let's see, what are my opinions on the Powerpuff Girls reboot so far? I have not seen it. I've only seen maybe like a handful of clips and maybe an episode or two, but yeah, I really don't have anything to say about it. I mean, I know a lot of people really hate it. So yeah, I mean, I need to see it for myself in order for me to give my full opinion on it, but I'm not rushing into it right away so I can be able to give my full critiques on it. So yeah, yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. Let's see. This April, you should do a ton of Angry Beaver related episodes. Maybe I won't do an Angry Beavers month. I mean, I will definitely do maybe a top 10 favorite Angry Beavers episodes, but as for dedicating a whole month to it, I mean, I'll have to see because I've already done 3 theme months this year alone. So I really need to take a break from doing like a whole bunch of theme months. So, I mean, Angry Beavers does sound pretty interesting, but it's not one that I have like a big priority on. Let's see. I got a question. Yes, I saw your question, Brendan. I'm going to answer it right now. What gave you the idea for this channel? Okay, so it was about let's see, it was started in 2012. Old School Lane was almost a year old, and I wanted to do a list of the top 10 Nickelodeon shows that need to be remade because at the time there was a whole bunch of remakes to cartoons. Like we had My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, we had Transformers Prime, GI Joe Renegade, the Thundercats reboot. So I mean, there was a whole bunch of reboots. So I thought, you know what, I know this is probably going to piss off a lot of people, but when Nickelodeon shows need to come back remade, and I'm not talking about like revived with brand new episodes with the same cast. I'm talking about like, redone from scratch, like have new animation, have updated modern ideas, that kind of stuff. I first did it as a podcast for podbean.com, but unfortunately it didn't work out because I needed to pay like every month in order for me to get more episodes that are longer like than 15 minutes. So I instead uploaded it to YouTube. And then after a while, I posted a few bits of news here and there, just sporadically, a little bit of more experimenting. This was like about a month before, no, about a year before we started doing like, straight on podcasts. Like we did our podcast in 2012, but it was during the time in which we were still mostly doing blogging as opposed to videos. Then around 2014, when I got a new laptop that I purchased with my tax money, I bought a new laptop and I was able to work a lot of things with it. The first computer that I had when starting Old School Lane was this really bulky old 5-year-old computer that barely worked. The only reason why I got it was because it was given to me by an employment company that I was supposed to use that to find work. I was unemployed at the time. So on the off chance when I was finishing looking up jobs, I used it to write articles and I recorded my first few episodes of casual chats on it. I think when I started using my sister's hand-me-down laptop was, I think it was during the Pete and Pete episode. So yeah, but during that time it was basically like this big bulky computer, and but basically just did a lot of blogging and recording podcasts. But then my friend Nick from the PlayStation Let's Play channel, he came along and he said, why don't you do videos? You do really good blog articles. It's the same thing, except that you have to put in some video clips. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. So eventually when I did buy the laptop and I was able to work a lot with it, that's when I started doing my videos. And ever since then, that's how it pretty much grew into a more prominent channel. So yeah, there you go. I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Could Nick News be successful today if they rebooted it? Oh, that's going to be really tough because even back then, nobody liked Nick News. I mean, there were so many kids who would complain about that every Sunday night, as soon as the Nicktoons are finished airing, then Nick News would come along and they would be like, oh, what's on Cartoon Network? So, I mean, in this day and age, when we're all hooked onto the internet, I think that something like Nick News wouldn't be interesting to kids. But, if they do it in a way that can generate more views to kids, like maybe a section in which they can talk about topics that would interest kids, like one of my favorite news programs is Sunday Morning. That's the one that shows on CBS, in which they have so many various topics. They not only cover the news, but they cover in various people on what they're doing. They talk about celebrities. There's this one on Fred Newman that is so interesting. Like, this was around the time in which Garrison Keillor from Prairie Home Companion was retiring, and they were talking about how Fred Newman does the sound effects. For those who don't know, Fred Newman is the voice of Skeeter and Mr. Dink on Doug, and he was also on the 80s talk show Livewire. And so, yeah, there was like this whole segment about him doing the mouth sounds and all that stuff. It was really fascinating. And, just a whole bunch of, people going through a lot of things. I know they tried to do something like that around the 80s that pretty much got little to no views, but I think it'll be kind of interesting. It has to be more appealing to kids if they ever want to bring back Nick News. I do respect it, don't get me wrong, but I think in this day and age, I think it'll most likely go online. Let's see. What is my favorite part about making videos? What is your least favorite part about making them? Okay. My least favorite part on making them is that it's incredibly tedious. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love editing, especially, when you see it all put together, but it takes a long, long time. Like it can take me like at least about 2 hours to do the audio editing, or maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then it would take even longer to do video editing. It takes me at least a whole day. And then writing the script for it, sometimes I get writer's block. So, there's that. But my favorite part about it is that when everything comes together and then, when people watch it and then they love it, that makes it all worthwhile. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Um let's see. Okay. I know you haven't seen this or may not even like it, but have you seen The Winx Club? No, I have not. That's way, way after my time. So yeah, I'm sorry I haven't seen it. I may sound like an idiot for asking this, but what is so bad about the newer Dan Schneider shows? I'll admit they're not as good as his older shows, but I don't outright hate them. I think the reason why a lot of people don't like the newer Dan Schneider shows is because it's way too safe. You see, Dan Schneider tends to rely on the same formula. I think that if Dan Schneider were to deviate from what he usually does and basically, changes up a little bit about the premise and what his style is, I think a lot more people would be less hateful on Dan Schneider's shows. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I respect Dan Schneider for what he did, but even I'm not too crazy about his other shows either. Not even his older shows. I mean, the Amanda show's pretty decent. Drake and Josh is his best show, but it has a ton of problems. And everything after that, I just wasn't really too crazy about. Maybe because, I mean, let's be honest. Drake and Josh came out when I was in college, so I mean, I didn't really gravitate towards that. I think if maybe Dan Schneider would, deviate from what he's usually known for, I think maybe, he wouldn't get as much flack. I mean, let's be honest. Game Shakers is basically iCarly, but with video games and younger kids. So, and then, with Henry Danger, it's basically like he wanted to do his own take on the Thundermans. So, I mean, I think that Dan Schneider does need to take a break and think about some new creative things to do, or he needs to just let somebody else have a chance. But even with anybody else having a chance, they don't seem to be doing very well. At least that's what I think. Um, Let's see. About the Jungle movie that Nickelodeon will be making, I wish the deleted scenes could be in the actual movie. If you're referring to the scenes that I was discussing about in the History of the Jungle movie video, Craig Bartlett did state that the elements that were going to be in the original draft will be in the new Jungle movie script, but I don't know what the script will be about. I don't know what things he'll be adding or deleting, so we'll just have to wait until 2017. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Sanjay and Craig and Doug's first movie? Sanjay and Craig, it had its moments, but it was just chock full of, a whole bunch of things that I wasn't too crazy about. It was just, I wasn't really too crazy about it. I mean, in the beginning, it seemed like it was going in an interesting direction with, trying to bring in a version of, regular show with mixture of Ren and Stimpy, but I think that it just didn't really hit the mark. But then again, I haven't seen Sanjay and Craig in its fullest. I've only saw like bits and pieces like during the first season, so I don't know how much it improved since then. And Doug's first movie, well, it shouldn't have been a theatrical movie. I mean, I know that the whole monster in Lucky Duck Lake was actually leading up from where Disney's Doug was talking about, but I mean, it wasn't really that interesting. So, trust me when I say this, that during next year, I will be doing an analysis video on Disney's Doug. So, trust me, I will be discussing more about Disney's Doug next year. Let's see. I never understood the I'd rather be watching cartoons argument for Nick News. It aired on Nick at Night, which doesn't even air cartoons anyway. I don't know. I mean, I guess around Sunday night, kids, they are watching cartoons. Tomorrow will be school. And then when Nick News comes along, they just get really frustrated. I remember watching this one video years ago about these two people who were complaining and ranting about Nick News. It is so hilarious. It's dumb, but it's hilarious the way they said it. It's like, oh, Nick News. We rather be watching Keenan and Kel and Rugrats, and it's like, look, I get it. It's opinion based, but Nick News has its own place in history, and I understand that some people. Trust me, a lot of people don't like Nick News. There's a Facebook page called I Hated Nick News When I Was a Kid. And last time I checked, it had a lot of likes. So, yeah, if you don't like Nick News, you're not the only one. Okay, let's see. Actually, Nick and I did air Glenn Martin. That's a stop motion cartoon. Glenn Martin. Where did I hear that one before? Is that the one about the dentist? I think I remember seeing like a clip of that once. I don't know if that's the one about the dentist. I've never seen it. I think I remember seeing like a one clip of it, and then I switched over to Adult Swim. Let's see. What videos of yours are you the most proud of? Good question. That's a really good question. I am going to be doing a list of my top 10 old school lane videos this coming week. So, I will be talking about that really soon. Did you like Party Wagon? Party Wagon was pretty entertaining. There were some offset moments that I wasn't too crazy about, like in the scene in which Three-Eyed Jack goes over to the ferry and shows off the map to El Glitterado. It's like, he couldn't if he was going to take revenge on the group that were heading over to El Glitterado, why did he tell them in the first place? And also, I felt that, the whole, what was it? Oh yeah, like when they find out that, they have to go all the way to San Francisco where the actual diamond mine is, and that's where Three-Eyed Jack had been stealing the diamonds, and them going on another long adventure. It's like it was getting a bit redundant. And I know this was supposed to lead up to the TV series, but I wish that it would have stretched out more of the adventure of the Oregon Trail. That would have been really interesting. If any of you guys played the Oregon Trail PC game back in the 90s, I mean, it showed off some really cool and harsh moments about traveling the over 2,000-mile trek to the Oregon Trail. And the characters were pretty interesting too. I would have loved to have known more about them, especially with Billy, when it was revealed that Billy was a girl. And I really would have loved to have seen the story that Craig came up with, in which it was episode 50 and the show would have taken years later. And Randy saw Billy as a 16-year-old and he kind of saw, who was that pretty girl? So that would have been interesting. I guess it was kind of like a more subdued version of the relationship that Helga had with Arnold, in which, she had a secret that she couldn't reveal to him. So yeah, it was really interesting. I wanted to know more about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that it didn't happen. Although, back in 2004, when this would have came out, I don't know. I mean, do you think it would have fit alongside with, shows like Kids Next Door and Billy and Mandy? I mean, it would have been interesting because, there aren't a lot of cartoons out there that are about Westerns. I mean, even still to this day, there aren't a lot of cartoons about Westerns. I mean, there's the Long Gone Gulch pilot that is being pitched around. They actually, the people who actually do that, Zach Bellissimo and Tara Billinger, they actually got the funds for doing the pilot, and they're currently working on it, and they're going to pitch it over to various animation networks. I would love to see that happen. I actually donated to that. So I'm really interested in finding out if maybe something like Cartoon Network would be able to pick that up, because I feel like it has I think it has potential. As for Party Wagon, it's a shame that it didn't get picked up, but yeah, what can you do? Do you think Nick is simply exploiting the 90s kids? Let's see. I mean, that's really tough because, Nickelodeon's always been always pushing the fact that, it's a network for kids. I mean, they still air the kids shows, they still have the live action kids programs. As for the 90s kids, I mean, they only have it like around nighttime. And there's been a lot of events going on lately. There was the Mondo event, the art festival in Texas, just a couple of days ago. I know about this because Scott and Adam from the Orange Years were actually there, and they were filming some stuff for the documentary. So um, I think that maybe not exploiting them. I mean, they're more or less celebrating it. I mean, if it were exploiting it, I mean, they would probably just post it left and right everywhere. But I think for now they're doing a nice balance between, Nickelodeon is mostly for kids, but we are going to celebrate the shows that people fell in love with in the first place. I mean, it would be amazing if they would actually do celebration for 80s Nickelodeon. I mean, I would love to see them post one day on Pinwheel and You Can't Do That on Television and Today's Special and Mighty and Danger Mouse and Count Duckula. That would be really interesting. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. Okay. Let's see. Could you imagine if Nickelodeon decides to make a SpongeBob slash Fairly Odd Parents crossover? That would be kind of interesting. I don't know how that would work out, but I don't know. I mean, SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents, I don't really see that together. So yeah, I have no clue. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we got some more people. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Why does Shout Factory refuse to get the rights for shows like Rugrats, Clarissa, as told by Ginger, Salute Your Shorts? Well, Rugrats already has released all 10 seasons. They're already out on DVD. And as for Clarissa, as told by Ginger and Salute Your Shorts, I'm not sure at this point. I mean, Clarissa, the first season is already out on DVD, or at least the first volume. I think the rest of it is on either Amazon or on iTunes. I don't remember. As told by Ginger, I think that it needs to have more recognition from the fans in order for it to get a full official DVD release, but I'm sure that'll happen soon. And as for Salute Your Shorts, I have no clue as of yet. I mean, I don't know if I mean, to be quite honest, Shout Factory hasn't really done a lot of Nickelodeon distribution DVDs in a while. I think the last one they did was Danny Phantom. But I heard that they were going to, I think they are on hold for now. So we'll just see what happens. Let's see. Favorite holiday specials of any kind? Yes, absolutely. Let's see. For Halloween, I already did my top 10 Halloween specials for Nickelodeon. I'll probably need to redo it at some point, but let's see. There's plenty of others that I really like. Let's see. There's the Garfield special. Its Halloween special is a lot of fun. Let's see. The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown is also a classic. Let's see. There's a lot of Cartoon Network ones that I really, really do enjoy. But let's see what else. Let's see. I've already talked about how much I love Pete and Pete's Halloweeny. It's my favorite Nickelodeon Halloween special. And let's see. There's tons of them. And as for movies, Coraline, Paranorman, Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, I watched it both on Halloween and Christmas. In fact, I'm probably going to watch it sometime this week because the Christmas holiday will be coming upon us. And I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of it, but there's a whole bunch that I have in my mind. And let's see, for Christmas. Oh man, Christmas is so much. I mean, hey, Arnold's Christmas. I will be doing an analysis video on that really soon. The Proud Family's Kwanzaa special is great. Let's see what else. There's a ton. Let's see. As much as I do think it's incredibly cheesy, but I mean the Wienerville Hanukkah special, I did a review on that last year, and even though it's incredibly goofy and just over the top silly, I still love it. It's definitely a lot more entertaining than the New Year's special that they did, which pretty much has no plot. It's just basically a whole bunch of gags that don't really work. Unfortunately, it's not available on YouTube anymore, so I can't do a review on that. And Rugrats Hanukkah. I mean, can you believe it that Rugrats Hanukkah is almost 20 years old at this point? It's crazy. And let's see what else. Let's see. I mean, I already talked about the Arnold's Halloween and the Veterans Day. That's also some of my favorites. And let's see, Garfield's Christmas is also great too. The Snowman, really love. I already talked about the. Let's see what else. Yeah, there's a whole bunch I can think of. Maybe I need to put down on a list pretty soon. But yeah, there's a lot of holiday specials that I really do love. Which show do you think is worse, Fred the Show or Marvin Marvin? Well, they both suck. I mean, they suck in different ways, but they both suck. I mean, Fred the Show, it was annoying, it was loud, it was irritating. Marvin Marvin was just weird for the sake of being weird. It's basically if you took the concept of Alan Strange, it just did everything wrong with it. So I have no idea. Maybe at some point I have to compare the two and see which one's the worst, but they both suck. Let's see. Will they ever change the Nickelodeon logo back to the original one? I have no clue. I have no idea. I mean, as of now, there's no mention of Nickelodeon's gonna change the logo. But who knows? Maybe they'll change it into one that is, one that's actually not boring and actually has a lot of vibrant and memorability. We'll see. Hi Ian, how's it going? I'm glad that you're joining in. Let's see. Hello, Codebox42. Do I prefer writing blogs or making videos? I like both. I like doing both. Writing blogs, because it's I can be able to just write down everything I have in my mind and just post it. With videos, I have to take a lot of time, but the presentation of it is much more appealing to the viewing eye. So I like doing both. It depends on the mood. Did you know that the person who voiced Dodie from As Told by Ginger also played Amanda from the Constant Pain pilot? Yes, and I also know that Aspen Miller also did a lot of performances with Meatloaf, who is the rock musician. So, yes, that's I know about that. Do I know what happened to Aspen Miller? No, I don't. I know that she is a singer, and yeah, I don't really know. She doesn't have a Facebook. She doesn't have a Twitter. Jackie Harris, the voice of Macy, has a Twitter, and I follow her. And so does Lorraine Newman, who voiced Lois. So I follow her. Melissa Disney, she has a Twitter, and I follow her as well. And even the creator, Emily Kapnick, who I also follow. Janine Elias is also on Twitter, but she doesn't post anything in a while. She's probably really busy with a whole bunch of things. And Tress McNeil, she never posts anything on Twitter. Although I did meet her about a year ago over at MegaCon, and she even autographed my Hey Arnold DVDs, which was really cool. But yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about Aspen, so yeah, sorry. Let's see. I noticed Disney is appealing to nostalgia too. They're putting Zack and Cody to their main lineup in January. Oh my god. I can't believe it that Zack and Cody is considered nostalgic to people. I remember when that started airing in college. Oh geez, it's been that long, hasn't it? I mean, when I think of Disney and nostalgia, I think of the Disney afternoon with like DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and stuff like that. Not Zack and Cody, but geez, I mean, I guess because they saw how popular that the Splat was doing, I guess they wanted to put in their spin on it. And to be fair, Disney also started off the whole continuation of main characters children's and stuff like that with Girl Meets World, and we got Fuller House because of it. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. If my pilot, which I've talked about on this live stream, becomes a real show, I'm going to try to get voice actors from Constant Pain in it. Well, good luck. I have to wish you good luck on that. Because, since a lot of these people are probably really busy, maybe some of them are union, so maybe they can't be able to take the time to do it. But if you can do it, good luck. Let's see. I didn't know that Aspen Miller played any roles other than Dodie and Alice from the Rugrats episode Hurricane Alice. Yeah, she does a few bits of voice acting. I know she does a lot of camera work and singing, more than anything. So, yeah. Do I have a favorite cartoon? Yes. My favorite cartoon has been Powerpuff Girls. I remember when I first saw the What a Cartoon pilot when I was a kid, and I immediately gravitated to Powerpuff Girls. I saw both pilots, the one with Fuzzy Lumpkins turning everything into meat, and the one with the Amoeba Boys wanting to rob the bank, and then they convince the Powerpuff Girls to help them out, but in reality, they're just doing it to make the Powerpuff Girls look bad. So yeah, that's always been my favorite one. As for, I mean, Dexter's Lab is really awesome. They'll probably have that as maybe second. Courage the Cowardly Dog. To be quite honest, I mean, I have seen some episodes of the show, but I haven't seen the whole thing. I remember when I saw the pilot and What a Cartoon and how fascinating it was, like the chicken from outer space, and he lays the eggs, and you see Eustace eating the eggs, and he becomes mesmerized, and the same thing with like I think, and then Courage is trying to, snap them back together and, trying to get rid of the chicken. And then he turns him into like a cooked chicken. I remember seeing that. I remember that sticking into my mind. And Johnny Bravo, yeah, Johnny Bravo is a funny show. I only saw like the first handful of seasons. I didn't see the later seasons. And as for Cow and Chicken, same thing. I only saw like a handful of episodes, but the episodes that I do remember is like Sail Cat and Ugly as Sweeney. Funny thing, Ugly as Sweeney, that song was actually, and the Sail Cat song was actually written by Bill Burnett from Chalk Zone. So yeah, those are the ones that stick out to me. Let's see. I hear you're a fan of the Muppets. So what are your favorite Muppet characters? Oh man. Let's see. There's so many. I mean, I love Kermit. Kermit's a classic. Miss Piggy. I actually have a baby Piggy doll in my closet that I had when I was a baby. If you remember Muppet Babies, I actually still have the doll. It's right next to my teddy bear that you've probably seen in my Thanksgiving episode. Let's see. Fonzie's great. Love Gonzo. Kevin actually has a Gonzo puppet. Not like the real one, but it's a puppet. It's more like a replica puppet, and he keeps it inside of a plastic box. So yeah, that's actually really cool. And I love the band. I love Dr. Teeth and his band, and I love the Swedish Chef, and there's so many others. I mean, I can go on, and maybe sometime in the future I'll need to do a Muppets podcast with Kevin, because we wanted to do that for a long time. We want to do one on the movies, and we want to do one on the TV shows. So we'll definitely have to put that in the list in sometime in the future. Worst change from Disney's Doug made from Nickelodeon's Doug. Okay. I can sum this up in one sentence. The changes were too quick. If you are going to try to differentiate yourself from Nickelodeon, Doug, you have to gradually change. The first episode is just over bloated with so much change. I know that was the whole purpose of the episode, in which Doug is going through change, but man, that's a lot. I mean, in the first episode alone, you have Doug going through puberty. You have the Honker Burger shutting down. You have the Beats breaking up. You have, Roger getting rich. You have the kids going through puberty, like Skeeter growing taller, Patty getting her hair cut, and Connie losing weight. I mean, I don't have no problems with those three. I mean, those are fine because, it makes sense. They're growing older. That's perfectly fine. But then you have, Doug's mom getting pregnant, and it's like, man, you need to slow it down. Like, holy crap. And yeah, I mean, that's my biggest gripe. My biggest gripe is that they added in too much change in that one episode, and then after that, there's nothing really new. I mean, they try to emphasize the fact that we're going to add in a whole bunch of these changes, and then afterwards, as for the formula, it's pretty much the same. When you consider that it came out in 96. So during that time, Hey Arnold came out. And then years later, you had Recess and Pepper Ann and all these other slice of life shows. They had their own differences. They put in their own stamp in which it differentiated itself with one another. And then Doug pretty much was staying the same. It was both different, yet it was the same. For people who grew up with Doug, it was like a massive change that was completely jarring at best and unnecessary at worst. And for the new generation who didn't grow up with it, They already had Recess and Hey Arnold and all those other shows that they could watch. It was doing a whole bunch of things that the Disney version of Doug was doing, but doing it better. So yeah, I mean, it's a very, very mixed opinion. I mean, like I said before, I'll definitely do more of an analytical video on it in the future. Let's see. Did you see the premiere of Justice League Action? No, I have not seen it yet, but I have heard about it. I did see Kevin Conroy post about it on Twitter, and it looks really interesting. So I cannot wait to see what this is going to be about because I really like the 2000s Justice League cartoon. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with this one. Let's see if I have any other questions. Did you know that Fred Newman also appeared on Between the Lions? No, I did not. I do know that Noel McNeil, the voice of Magellan and Bear in the Big Blue House, he was also in that show. But Between the Lions was way after my time, so I have never seen the show. But no, I've never seen it. What Nickelodeon child star do you expect to be a big star but didn't? I thought that Josh Server was going to be the next Jim Carrey. I mean, Josh Server, he does various things. I mean, he's been in a lot of indie movies right before he went off to, continue doing the voice of Casey from TMNT. So he does play a lot with different things, and he also was in that what you call it, that sitcom Grandfather that didn't really go anywhere, but everybody was excited because it was going to have Drake Bell as a guest. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because we don't expect child actors to do well, or we do expect child actors to do well. It's kind of mixed, and I don't know what the new child actors are going to be like. It should be really interesting. Let's see. When will that special Hey Arnold video be out? Oh, really soon. I can't. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be coming out in the beginning of next year. I'm sorry, I cannot tell you what it is, but I'm telling you, it's going to be really, really awesome. I've been working on it for a long time. I have some good news. I'm done with the interviews. So I'm just going to listen to all the interviews all over again, and I'm going to place it together as a story. And then I'm actually going to contact a freelance animator slash artist to help me out with to drawing out some pictures for some segments. But I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything other than that. Let's see. Can Josh Seelig make a show appealing to teenagers? I don't know who Josh Seelig is, so I'm sorry, I don't know. I can't answer that question. Do you plan talking about shows from Cartoon Network or Disney shows, such as Kim Possible or The Proud Family? Yes, I will. In fact, I've been writing a list of all the programs I want to talk about that are not Nickelodeon related. So yes, I will be covering those really soon. Hopefully, maybe sometime in the next year, I will be doing some more stuff that isn't involved with Nickelodeon. So yeah, expect to see more varied programs covered in Old School Lane. What are your thoughts on the Powerpuff Girls reboot? This is what I fear happening to Hey Arnold. Well, I've already answered this question previously, but if you didn't know, I did not see the Powerpuff Girls reboot. I only saw like clips and maybe like an episode or two, so I have no opinion on it. But there's a difference between the Powerpuff Girls reboot and what's happening to A. Arnold. You see, the Powerpuff Girls reboot has no association with Craig McCracken. He's not involved with the show. He's not writing it. He's not producing it. He's not checking it. A bunch of new people are working on the Powerpuff Girls reboot. And as for Hey Arnold, at least Craig Bartlett and a good majority of the people who are working on Hey Arnold, as well as brand new people, are being involved. So I have a little bit more confidence of Hey Arnold's success, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's see. If you don't know, Josh Seelig is the creator of Ubi, The Wonder Pets, and Peking Duckling. Oh, okay. So preschool shows. Because I mean, I know about Ubi. Well, I mean, from what I've heard, it's about like a show with hand puppets with googly eyes. Cheryl Blaylock is actually one of the characters on Ubi. I should know because she actually told me about this when she was actually giving me her birthday wish on Halcyon days. And the Wonder Pets. Yeah, I've never seen any of these shows. I mean, maybe I have seen like a handful of them, if only for me to cover what they were going to be like for the Nickelodeon tribute, but I have literally nothing to say about it. And I've never even heard of Peking duckling. Sounds like Peking duck, like, the Chinese delicacy, meal. The Peking duck that is like hanging on the around the windows. I'm sorry if that's a little bit too dark for you, but um, yeah. If Josh Seelig makes a show to teenagers, I don't know. If he can, that'll be kind of interesting, but I have no clue. Did you watch Lizzie McGuire? Okay, I've only seen a handful of episodes of Lizzie McGuire because when I first saw it, I thought it was very similar to Clarissa Explains It All, in which it's about a teenage girl going through everyday life, and she has like a segment where it breaks the fourth wall with this animation of her talking about something. And then I found out that the person who created Lizzie McGuire was the same person who actually wrote the Clarissa Now pilot with Mitchell Kriegman. So I did see like a handful of episodes. I don't know really much about it, other than that it's about a teenage girl going through a whole bunch of things, and you have her best friend, and you have the guy who's a friend but not a boyfriend. It looks pretty interesting. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but it feels like what Clarissa Explains It All was for me was for the kids who grew up with it around the early 2000s. So yeah. um but other than that, it looks pretty interesting. I haven't seen it in a while, but it does look like it's a pretty decent show, and I've never seen any of the movies. Let's see. Disney's Doug even messed up continuity with Nickelodeon Doug. In the first episode, they said that he cancels his birthday every year, but there was an episode where his birthday was coming up and he never canceled it. Yeah, here's the thing. You see, even in yeah, it's kind of unknown about when Doug's birthday is, but if you remember from Doug's birthday present, his birthday is around the time where he's going to school. And then around Disney's Doug, it says that his birthday's around summertime. So yeah, continuity was kind of botched in Disney's Doug. But then again, I guess continuity wasn't like a big importance back in the day. So, I mean, it's not too much of a big deal, but it does stick out like a sore thumb, especially with me knowing about um, Doug. Favorite Sesame Street Muppets. Also, have you heard about the show's changes ever since they moved to HBO, such as Gordon, Bob, and Louis leaving? Okay, Sesame Street Muppets. Bert and Ernie. I loved Ernie when I was a kid. I had an Ernie toy, similar to the Miss Piggy plush doll. I had an Ernie one when I was a baby. Grover, love Grover. I love Big Bird as well. I was really excited the day that I met with Carol Spinney at Florida SuperCon. He was so nice. And I have yet to see I Am Big Bird, the documentary about Carol Spinney. I really want to see that. Although I did see Kevin Clash's Elmo documentary. I have not seen the I Am Big Bird documentary, and I want to so badly. Um, let's see. Who there's plenty of other characters. Oscar the Grouch. He's awesome. He's a jerk, but I love him so. I remember when Obscurus Lupa actually covered the Sesame Street episodes a few years ago, the Christmas specials. And the way that Oscar pretty much was like a jerk to everybody, especially in that first one where he's saying like I hate Christmas. It's so funny. If you're wondering, I've never seen Obscurus Lupa other than those two specials, and I think it was the Christmas specials that she did that one year where she was covering like the TMNT Christmas special, the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special, and then the Sesame Street one. I haven't seen any of the other stuff that she covered, but yeah. Let's see what else. I really love that guy that Grover constantly harasses every time that he goes over to the restaurant and he says, "Waiter, where's my order?" I just love the fact that Grover pretty much messes him up every time. It's so funny. And let's see, I love the guy Smiley, the announcer. He's so energetic and so fun. And let's see what else. And also the Sesame Street movie Follow That Bird. Oh my god, I love that movie so much. I remember when I first saw it as a kid, And then they got to the scene in which Big Bird is in the cage and he's blue and then he sings that song. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. But it's such a happy movie. I really like that movie. I haven't seen it in so long, but I loved that movie when I was a kid. And yes, I do know about the changes that happened because when I was over at Florida SuperCon, I actually did meet up with Bob and Lewis was there. The actors who were there, yes, I did meet up with them. They were very nice, and I did hear about the changes. There was actually a panel that Bob and Lewis were at, and they were actually mentioning about the whole HBO moving, and it sucks that they had to kick them out because, even though that Bob is almost, I think he's over 80 years old at this point, but he still looked great, and he was so happy talking with everybody, and the kids were approaching him, so nice. And Lewis was the same way too. I haven't met the guy who played as Gordon, but yeah, I did hear about that, and it's a shame. It's a real shame. Okay. Another thing I didn't like about Disney's Doug was that the stories were often too contrived and some of the plots felt very out of place for a slice of life cartoon. Again, this was Jim Jenkins basically trying to do some changes for the series. And you have to give the guy credit that he was trying to differentiate it from Nickelodeon's Doug and basically, you know, try to make it its own thing, but there were some things about it that just didn't really fit. Have I seen The Weekenders and who is my favorite character? Haven't seen The Weekenders. I do know of its existence, and I don't have a favorite character. So yeah, sorry. Let's see. In Doug's first movie, the AV kids were building a robot in shrink ray that shrinks Roger in a slice of life cartoon. I mean, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Like, if you've ever watched the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, I mean, one of the characters is revealed to be an alien, and the main character was chosen to be like the savior of the universe. But then again, that's an anime. An anime gets really weird. But I get what you're saying, that, a slice of life cartoon has to be more grounded, it has to be more simplistic, and it has to be a lot more relatable. And I completely get that. But trust me, I mean, if you go way out of hand with like the craziness that doesn't fit, yeah, it does stick out really badly. Like, I didn't really care about Maud turning into a ghost in the As Told by Ginger Halloween episode. I wasn't too crazy about that either. Okay, the creators of Recess apparently are wanting to do a revival of the show, according to an article from Reliable Source last month. What are your thoughts? It should be interesting. I mean, if they are thinking about doing a revival on it, I mean, we'll just see what happens. I don't know who's willing to come back for the series. I mean, maybe they can get back some of the voice actors. I doubt any of the boys because they've gotten way too old at that point. I mean, I know that definitely Pam Adlon would come back as Spinelli, and maybe April Winchell can come back as Miss Finster. I don't know about Ashley Johnson. I mean, Ashley Johnson, she has grown and she has basically prosper her career since Recess. I mean, for those who don't know, Ashley was the voice of Gretchen, but nowadays a lot of people know her as Ellie from The Last of Us. So it would be really nice if maybe Ashley can come back to provide her role. To go back for her role, but I think that a lot of them are going to be replaced by younger kids, similar to how Hey Arnold is doing it, in which they're adding in a whole bunch of new kids for the parts. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if how it's gonna be. I don't know if it is gonna be 100% confirmed. But knowing Paul and Joe, especially since I still keep in touch with them. I actually just spoke to Joe last month. So yeah, I mean, if these guys are willing to go back to it and do some new things with it as well as keep to the original, it should be really nice. We'll just see what happens. Let's see. Disney will air shows on January 1st from the last 20 years. 3/4 of them are live action. Oh, okay. I'm surprised that the creators of Teen Titans Go are pretending that the show is popular so they can make new episodes. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Teen Titans Go has been airing a lot of episodes, and they constantly have been popular for a lot of the kids. So I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people really hate it, but then a lot of people who didn't grow up with Teen Titans, the original, they really like Teen Titans Go because of its humor. But Yeah, I mean, again, I've never seen Teen Titans Go. I've only seen like bits and pieces of it. The last time I saw it was like a few months ago when I was in Orlando going to MegaCon, and my cousin was just putting it on TV, and I was just watching it in the background, not really paying attention to it. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that all the other pilots that were featured on the DC Nation didn't get picked up. Like, I really wanted to see that, the Supergirls, the one that Lauren Faust did. I wanted to see that into a TV show. That would have been so fun. But, we'll just I mean, at this point it's a shame. Will Kevin ever come back? Yeah, he will. He's just been really busy with a lot of things, but he definitely will come back soon. Have you seen We Bear Bears? In bits and pieces. I have seen like a handful of episodes, and from what I've seen of it, it's really cute. Worst show slash movie ripoff you've ever seen, and what was it a ripoff of? Oh boy, well, let's see. Okay, I remember that when my friend Dicker Shadow has covered a lot of Asylum movies on his YouTube channel, and he covered in a whole bunch of the ripoffs of those kind of movies, like the ripoffs of like War of the Worlds and Prometheus and stuff like that. And I thought, oh man, these things are terrible. Like these are some of the worst things I've ever seen. Like, I know that they also done things like Transmorphers and Atlantic Rim. So, yeah, those things are terrible. And the sad thing is that Asylum is also planning on doing animated movies in the future. But as like ripoffs, let's see. I mean, I don't really go my way to see crap, which is fortunate for me because I mean, when I see something, I know it's going to be crap. But um yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do recall like a lot of the ripoffs of like, Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. I remember when I first saw a clip, or maybe it was an episode. I remember seeing an episode of tattooed teenage aliens from outer space or something like that, and Street Sharks. I was like, "Oh god, this is terrible." I remember that one of my friends from school actually had the Street Sharks toys, and I just thought it was like so dumb. So, let's see. As for movies, I mean, probably one of my least favorite was Aragon, that ripoff of like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. I just thought it was so bad. I remember my friend Tim Deanna even reviewed it a few years ago. So yeah, those are ones that come into the top of my mind. I'm sure there's plenty of others. Oh, you watch Obscurus Lupa? I've only seen a few of her reviews. No, I don't watch Obscurus Lupa. I just only saw those things because she's talking about Sesame Street. This ought to be fun. So yeah, I have never seen any of her stuff other than those Christmas specials she talked about. So sorry. If you could end any still curring, no, if you can end any still curring airing show right now, what would it be? Uh, let's see. I don't know. I mean, if there's any TV show like on the top of my head that I really want to see end, uh, let's see. Maybe all the shows that people won't shut up about because they've been complaining about it. It's like, hey, you can always just change the channel to something else. But yeah, I really don't know at this point. And does it ever occur to you that SpongeBob will never die, even when the voice actors die? I mean, SpongeBob has become a major staple in our pop culture, whether a lot of people like it or not. I mean, it's the same way in which, there's a lot of other characters from our pop culture pretty much stays relevant, like, like the Looney Tunes or Woody Woodpecker or Scooby Doo. As for how SpongeBob's legacy will be, I have no clue, but I do know it's like a huge staying power. But I don't know what 20 or 30 years ago, I mean, from now would be like. I mean, a lot of people say it's like The Simpsons. It's basically just zombie TV in which it'll never end. But, for what SpongeBob did, it did leave a big impact on a lot of people. Again, I'm not one of those people because I was too old for SpongeBob, but I do respect it for what it is. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I was at the panel where Lori Allen and Roger Bumpus was at, where they were talking about SpongeBob. There were so many kids over there, and there were so many kids asking questions and wanting for them to say the quotes. SpongeBob is still popular for a lot of people. So, I can't really fault, SpongeBob for being the way it is. It's Nickelodeon's fault that it pretty much dragged on the way it did. SpongeBob was just a simple show about a sponge, and for its big success, you should applaud it. As for dragging on for this long, it's not the creator's fault. Nickelodeon saw that Rugrats was waning down in popularity, and um they needed something else to replace it, and SpongeBob just so happened to be that big hit. So, I mean, I blame Nickelodeon for doing, the exploitation on SpongeBob, not the show itself. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about SpongeBob. I mean, whether it'll be a huge, you know, cultural phenomenon, 20 or 30 years from now, I have no clue. How come you didn't interview Craig Bartlett for Hey Arnold Month? Because he was busy with the Jungle movie. Plus, I've already interviewed him a few years ago, so there was not really much I can cover that I didn't already say. So, yeah, sorry. I think Ashley Johnson would come back for a Recess revival. She revived her role as Terra in Teen Titans Go. Okay, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I know that she's really busy with a whole bunch of other projects. I know that she's in that NBC program as the scientist, and they just announced The Last of Us Part 2, and she's coming back as Ellie. So, yeah, I mean, if she can come back for Gretchen, that'd be awesome. Do you think 2016 has been an incredibly redeemable year for Nickelodeon? I think it was because of the 25th anniversary celebrations. I think it was. I think that 2016 was a pretty good year for Nickelodeon. Not only did we get the Loud House, but we also got the celebration of the 25th anniversary of the Nicktoons. And also, we got the Double Dare reunion celebration. We got the Legends of the Hidden Temple TV movie, and we got Albert. And yeah, I think it was really good for Nickelodeon. I think it was a good year for them. Let's see. Happy 5th anniversary. Thank you very much. Are you a creepypasta fan? No, I am not. You said that after Rugrats died down, SpongeBob replaced it as Nick's new show. What do you think of the next show Nick will exploit? Oh boy. I have no clue. I think I'm hoping not. I'm crossing my fingers and I'm hoping that it won't happen. But the Loud House has gotten a lot of buzz from people lately, and it seems to be doing a lot better than Harvey Beaks. So I think if SpongeBob dies down, I think the Loud House will be next. I don't know if it is. I hope it's not, but I think it will be. Okay, what is my favorite Rocco's Modern Life episode? Okay, I have done a list a few years ago, but I need to redo it again. But I know a lot of people love the Wacky Deli episode, and I love that episode as well. But the episode Love Spanked also has a whole special place in my heart, because with Rocco wanting to have a date with Melba and trying to have a whole bunch of other dates, it's so relatable. It's so crazy. And it has my favorite quote from the entire series, in which Rocco picks up the bunny girl, and, she's really sweet and innocent. And then they go into the car and she has this seductive voice. It's like, so what do you want to do? And then Rocco says, oh, how about if I walk you back to the door? And then she grabs him and then she says, why don't we trade math equations, baby? I find that so funny. It's so great. And I just find it, and it's funny because my cousin and I were actually playing checkers when we were watching that episode, and then there was a line at the end in which, when Heifer doesn't want Rocco to go outside because he put out a whole bunch of neon signs for Melba to see, like, Melba, come, say hi to me, I'm Rocco. And then Heifer says, why don't we stay inside and play checkers? So I thought that was a lot of fun. Okay, I like to see a Golden Girls sequel where Rose is looking for roommates and four men show up at her door, seeing her ad in the paper. No, I don't want to see that. Sorry. Let's see. I believe that Nickelodeon will stop exploiting with SpongeBob if the next movie or maybe the fourth movie flops. Oh, definitely. Because if the same thing happened to Rugrats, in which when the third movie was a disaster, they pretty much just stopped with Rugrats. So if the third movie becomes a financial failure, SpongeBob is dead to Nickelodeon. Like, oh, we squeezed it for all it's worth. Move on to the next one. So yeah. Let's see. Is iCarly or Victorious worse? Okay, let's see. iCarly, I love the concept. I love it. But the execution of it was just so annoying. And Victorious, I've already seen this like 15 years ago with, no, wait, 10 years ago with Taina. So it's something I've already seen before. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, both of them are pretty annoying in their own way, but at least with iCarly, it's a unique concept. But with Victorious, it's not too terrible, but I've already seen Taina, so it's something I've already seen before. What video of yours are you the least proud of? Um, Probably my top 20 through 11 Nickelodeon shows that need to be remade, because there was this one moment in which I was talking about that iCarly needed a remake, and then I put in a sound effect of people booing, and then I yelled, "Shut up." I regret that because that was so dumb. And also, another thing that I do regret was that vlog video about me talking about a possible Rugrats revival. And I was saying about, like, kids wouldn't care about a Rugrats revival, and people wouldn't care about a Rugrats revival. It's like, why am I saying this? Why? Because, if people want to see it, then let them see it. What right do I have to say you can't see this because you're too old for it? It's like, what am I talking about? That's why I stopped doing those kind of vlog announcements, because they just felt unsatisfying to me. Okay, let's see. Favorite slice of life cartoon. Okay. American slice of life cartoon, Hey Arnold. Japanese slice of life cartoon, Azumanga Daioh. I will definitely do an Azumanga Daioh video sometime next year. Definitely. Let's see. What are your worst Disney Channel shows? Okay, I remember when Hannah Montana was such a popular show and everybody was singing the songs. I was like, "Oh, let it die, let it die." The songs are so annoying. And let's see what else. I wasn't too crazy about Bonkers the Bobcats when I was a kid. And let's see if there's any other Disney shows that I really don't like. Let's see. Gargoyles, the Chronicle year, Goliath year. No, the Goliath Chronicle. That's what it was. Yeah, that had no involvement with Greg Wiseman, and it shows. It's not really that good. But as for any of the other programs that came out in the late 2000s, I mean, let's see. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I do really hate the High School Musical movies. I remember when I saw the first one, and I was like, "Wow, this is terrible." I mean, the music's fine, but the story sucks. So yeah, I remember when that was such a popular thing and everybody was singing the songs. And the songs are fine. The songs are catchy, but the story sucks and the characters are not that great. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Let's see. What crossovers of cartoon shows would you like to see that hasn't been done yet? Mm, oh boy, let's see. I don't know. I'm not really much of a person who kind of thinks about, like, this should be a crossover because of this reason. I'm not sure. I mean, it's kind of funny because I remember in the let's see, I think it was in the Pee-wee's Big Holiday podcast, I was talking about, like, it would be so awesome if Pee-wee and Mr. Bean were in a movie together. But I know that's never going to happen because the guy who played as Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, had already retired the character years ago. Let's see, cartoons though. Cartoons. It would be really cool if Danny Phantom and Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot can cross over together and have, like, this big epic battle, maybe with Vlad Plasmius and Vexus from Cluster Prime teaming up and have this huge, gigantic robot ghost battle. That'd be freaking awesome. So yeah, let's see. What are my least favorite Cartoon Network shows? Let's see. Well, I remember when I was a kid, Mike, Luke, and Og was boring to me, and I just really wasn't too crazy about it. And let's see what else. Um, I haven't really seen a lot of like the later Cartoon Network programs because I was mostly focusing on watching like Adult Swim and Toonami. I mean, I did see stuff like Billy and Mandy and um, let's see, Billy and Mandy, Teen Titans, and Chowder. I did see bits and pieces of Camp Lazlo. I haven't seen like the rest of the stuff, but yeah, I really do need to watch more Cartoon Network stuff because around the early 2000s, I did see Billy and Mandy and Teen Titans and Kids Next Door. But any of the later stuff from the 2000s, like when they were doing like the live action stuff, I've never seen it because I was already in my anime phase. No, wait, that was late 2000s, so I was out of my anime phase, but I was slowly getting into like starting off old school lane. So yeah, sorry. Let's see. Have I ever seen the Rocco's Modern Christmas? Yes, I have seen it, and it's good. It's a really good special. I remember when you were making a video apologizing for making fun of Roundhouse. Where's that video where you poke fun of Roundhouse or something? That's gone. It's long gone. But yeah, that's another video that I regret. Gabe and I should have never done a riff on Roundhouse. Let's see. Are you ready for the 2017 Beauty and the Beast? Yes, I am ready for it. What is your favorite MTV show? Let's see. I love Daria. Beavis and Butthead, I really do like as well, even though that I don't love it as much as everybody else does. I mean, I know Kevin loves Beavis and Butthead, but I like Daria more. And Syphil and Ollie is one of my favorite shows that I watched when I was a kid. Very obscure show about sock puppets making a whole bunch of jokes, but yeah, it's also one of my favorites. And I also used to love watching the music videos on MTV. I know they don't really do that anymore, but I always used to love watching them and all the creativity that they used to put into like all the visual effects on the music videos, which they don't really do that much anymore, which is a shame. Let's see. A lot of people despise Sam Manson from Danny Phantom, especially in season 3. What do you think of her as a character? She's all right. I mean, she has her moments, but I don't hate her. But she's okay. I mean, I do know that maybe the reason why they didn't like her was maybe because they kind of forced in the whole, oh, Danny and Sam are a couple. I mean, I do like them as a couple. They did have some nice chemistry together. And I actually put them in my top 5 Nickelodeon couples. I mean, I don't hate her as a character, but she's all right. What is my favorite Robot Chicken skit? Oh my god. Where do I start? There are so many Robot Chicken skits that I love. The classic ones like the Gummy Bear one and the Humping Robot one with the Nintendo Wii game. There's the DDR one with Fidel Castro. There's all the movie parodies like the one with the Joker with the Shawshank Redemption one. That's amazing. It's funny because Kevin Shinnig actually wrote that one. Speaking of Kevin Shinnig, he also did the Carmen Sandiego one, which that was also really funny. And also, let's see. There's the Christmas ones with Goku. That's also pretty funny. There's the Star Wars special, which was also a lot of fun. Let's see. Um, the Nickelodeon ones are so great. The Double Dare one's great. The Wild Thornberry ones is hilarious. The Dora the Explorer ones, they're so funny. Especially the one with the quinceañera. That one cracked me up. And the one where she goes up into the mountain and it's a survival thing and then Diego falls down into the canvas and Swiper's freezing to death and Dora gives him an empty gun. Uh but yeah, there's let's see, there's and the darkest sketch of history. That was something. Wow. Let's see if I can think of any others. There's the Conan the Barbarian one. Um there's all the parodies of the 80s cartoons, like the Thundercats one where Mum Ra is the babysitter. There's the He-Man one. There's the one about where a whole bunch of the cartoon characters were obscure and so they had to get like regular jobs or they were committing suicide. The one with Jem where she's like playing songs for a kid's birthday party. It was so much fun. uh it's great. But yeah, let's see what else I can think of. There's the one with the nerd. I love the nerd character. The one with the unicorn and the one where he imagines where he's kind of like reenacts the scene from Knight Rider. And then there's that other the other nerdy character where he kind of wears the Meatwad t-shirts. He's also a lot of fun. The Lindsay Lohan ones are so funny, especially when they move over to the nerds neighborhood where they're doing the Living Lohan reality show that lasted for like 5 minutes on TV. Um, yeah, there's so many of them. I really do like. Do you like the Facts of Life? Yeah, I haven't seen that show in a while, but I remember liking it. Okay. Some fans says some fans of Goth Girl says that Sam isn't a real Goth girl. Oh, oh, I mean, I guess. I mean, I did hang out with a few Goth girls when I was in high school when that was more of a thing, when they were all dressing in black and they were all talking about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. So, I mean, I guess I never really saw Sam as much of a goth girl. I mean, she does like the stereotypical thing in which I don't like sunlight. I'm dressed in black. And, I don't and I'm basically a really strict vegan. So, it's whatever. Which of the 2000s Nickelodeon shows do you want to see come back as a movie slash special slash show special? Sorry. Okay, let's see. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna probably go crazy on this, but the way that they pulled off Legends of the Hidden Temple, they have to do one on Nick Arcade. Nick Arcade would have so many possibilities. Like, have the kids go into an arcade or play a video game that is like um homaging classic arcade games, and then maybe like Phil Moore would be like the guy who runs the arcade shop, and then he would tell them about there's this new virtual reality room that they're testing out, but then they get themselves locked in and then they have to fight off all the three baddies from the game, and including the last one being the wizard, and they have to play like all the games in order for them to raise the points. If they are going to do one, I'm just hoping that the girl gamers don't suck. That's like one of my biggest problems with the original Nick Arcade when looking back on it. The gamers who are female, they sucked so bad. I mean, it's so painful to watch nowadays, but I would love to see that. And Danny Phantom would love to see a TV special where it would probably continue on with the series. Love to see a My Life as a Teenage Robot one. Would love to see a Pete and Pete reunion video special. Um, it would be really nice if maybe All That can have like a reunion special on TV. I know they've done a lot of them on conventions, but it would be so cool. Or maybe Are You Afraid of the Dark would have one too, in which maybe a new generation of kids would come in and maybe there's something supernatural that happens, and then they have to bring in the old members of the Midnight Society. You know how in the episode The Tale of the Silver Sight, they actually brought in the spooky elements into the real world? I would love to see that happen again. And then the old members of the Midnight Society have to come in and help them out when saying like maybe the Silver Sight came back, and maybe the little kid who's like the creepy kid who's like following them around wanting to get the Silver Sight so he can be able to come back. It's like that would be so cool if he can get his revenge or something. I would love that. Let me see any others. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of others I can think of, but yeah, those are the. I mean, let's see. Um, I don't know if they'll ever do an Avatar one because I mean they already have the comics, so they're already taken care of. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably all I can think of. What did I say about Roundhouse? I don't think the show was that good either. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I've never liked Roundhouse, but the way that Gabe and I did it when we riffed it, we did it like really poor taste. So that's why we pretty much stopped it. And even the creators themselves called us idiots, and it was rightfully so. I mean, I have critiqued Roundhouse in the past, and I really don't like it, but I do know that it has a huge following, and I have to respect that huge following. Doesn't mean that I will not take back that I, don't like it. I really don't like that show. So yeah, I mean, the way that Gabe and I re-riffed it, it was not the way we should have critiqued it. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I still state that I really don't like that show. Do you think that Dora is a bad show? Yeah, it is. It's basically just pandering to people, making them look like they're incapable of following basic rules. Yeah, I really don't care for it. Favorite internet reviewer? Oh boy. Um, I really don't follow a lot of internet reviewers, to be quite honest. I follow a lot of my colleagues more than anything. I mean, sure, I've seen a lot of people like on Channel Awesome, but not really. I mean, I've barely seen anybody on Channel Awesome. I mean, have seen the nostalgia critics work here and there, and the nostalgic chicks and Mars girls, but as for everybody else, I've never seen any of their videos. I mean, have seen a few of Obscures Lupa's videos, but everybody else, no, I've never seen any of their videos. I've never seen Linkara's videos. I've never seen, um, Todd's videos. I've never seen Angry Joe's videos. I've never seen any of them. So, I mean, a lot of my favorite reviewers have been my colleagues, and a lot of the people who I've been influenced by, like Little Miss Gamer and the Happy Video Game Nerd and Gex Up and the guys from Game Trailers who are now Easy Allies. So yeah, I mean, I really don't follow a lot of online reviewers, but just the people who've influenced me to do my content work, as well as my colleagues from Manic Expression and Comic Book Cast. Let's see, best Nick Jr. show. Well, I would say that conceptually, I think that Blue's Clues is the best because yeah, now hear me out. That I mean, I do love Eureka's Castle. It's the one that I grew up with the most. But when I went to college and I was attempting on being a teacher and I was doing an assignment about looking up preschool shows and their evolution, I saw that Blue's Clues was like a really nice balance between like, teaching kids and having like colorful, settings and a whole bunch of those things. And the host was really warm and inviting and the characters were really nice. Um, also, there's the fact that it really made kids feel like they were smart. That was what I really respected about it. And then there's, Eureka's Castle is also one that's really close to my heart. Yo Gabba Gabba is really weird at times, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty on being educational, it does really well. So good. I mean, not the ones that the characters sing. No, 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 no. I'm talking about like the music videos, like the ones that talk about a season or a subject of the day. Like, there's the one about love and there's the one about summer and Halloween and stuff like that. Like those animated music videos, those are the ones that I really like. The ones that the characters sing, like the puppets, no, not the puppets, like the people inside the costumes, they're all right. But the animated music videos are the ones that I really like, and I do also like the little segments, like when Mark Mothersbaugh does the drawing. That's also really nice, and also like the 8-bit video game segments. Those are really cool. So yeah, there's that, and let's see if I can think of other. Yeah, those are the ones that I couldn't really think of. Do you think that The Simpsons should die? Yes, I think it needs to die. Because it's been going on for so long, and they're going to be doing more seasons of the show. It really needs to die. Do you think creators feel bad about their shows getting bad reviews on IMDb? I mean, I would think so. I would think that they would, feel bad. But I mean, it's like if they do feel bad about it, it's like, there's either one of two reasons. Like, it's not their style or it's genuinely terrible. And I think that some creators do feel genuinely bad because I'm sure that they put a lot of work and passion into it. There's some that will generate towards the show and there's some that won't. But the ones that are bad because they're genuinely bad and maybe people are just flat out ignoring it. I mean, that's kind of a shame if they are, because they won't listen to people's critique. In this day and age, we have the internet and they can easily go over to a creator and tell them, I don't feel right about this because of this reason. So, there's a lot of creators who do take in notes about that, there should be changes. So I think, back then that wouldn't be the case, but nowadays, definitely. I mean, creators should be able to understand that what they're doing in this day and age with creating shows, there are going to be people who are going to hate it. And, they should understand about, what they can do to be better about themselves and put out better stuff. But if it's an idea that they've always wanted to do and they feel like they can be able to pull it off, then, let them go for it. But other than that, I mean, if it's like a troll saying like, "Oh, you suck," It's like, there's going to be a lot of those people out there. So they should just focus on what they need to do. And if there's like something that is genuinely bad, that is insulting, then yeah, they should probably change it. What do you think of the next show that came out in 2017? And what do you think of the Legends of the Hidden Temple TV movie? And hi, Patricia. Hi, Talia. The Legends of the Hidden Temple TV movie was better than I thought it was going to be. It was quite a surprise. And yeah, I really did enjoy it. And as for the stuff in 2017, the one that I'm really excited about is the Hair and Old Jungle movie. I don't really know too much about all the other stuff, but that's the one I'm the most excited about. Let's see. What are your thoughts from a creator going from creating a good show to creating a bad show, like Brian Robbins going from all that to awesomeness TV? It's really difficult because there are a lot of creators that do create a lot of bad shows. Like, the Tremblay brothers went from creating SWAT Cats to Mega Babies, and that was a bad show. And some people, they either have to do it because of corporate mandates or because they wanted to do something different. It's there are people who create, they always want to push to something new. They always want to be able to see what they want to do and hoping that people will like it just as much as their previous stuff. So I mean, it happens. People create bad shows, they make mistakes, and maybe for some they thought it was going to be successful and it doesn't turn out to be that way. But, with Brian Robbins creating Awesomeness TV, I mean, it didn't work out the way it was supposed to be. I mean, I guess he wanted it to be like all that, but for the internet. But yeah, it didn't turn out the way he wanted. And it's a shame because I liked the idea, but the execution just wasn't really good. But yeah, I mean, as for Brian Robbins being ashamed, I have no idea what his opinions on the show are. So yeah. Let's see. A lot of people really love High School Musical, even still to this day. Just saying. Well, that's good if they really like it. I mean, I just don't really like it that much. Let's see. Have you heard of My Life as a Teenage Robot fans creating a season 4 of the show on YouTube? No, I have not. And if they do, that should be really interesting. I just hope that they don't get taken down due to copyright strikes from, Nickelodeon or Viacom. Do you think Avatar, the TV show, could have another series someday after Korra? I don't know. I mean, with the way that Mike and Brian were pretty much pushed over and shafted by Nickelodeon when they were, messing around Korra's schedule. I don't know if they'll be able to do that anytime soon. I mean, right now, a lot of the people are working on their other projects. I know that Mike and Brian are working on various comic books, and a lot of the animators are on the new Voltron cartoon on Netflix. So I have no idea. We'll just see. Do you think that you'll ever consider working for Nickelodeon? I doubt it. I doubt that I ever will. I heard that the animation of the 2016 Powerpuff Girls is getting better. Oh, that's good. What did you think of the robot chicken sketch where Squirtle breaks character? That's pretty funny. I really like that one in which is Pikachu and Squirtle, and then they're saying like, "Why are we doing this? Kids, go outside, do something better with your life." That was pretty funny. Would you review the directed DVD sequel someday? No, not really. I mean, Doug Walker's already doing it, so what's the point of me doing it? Who would win in a fight, Mark Summers or Mike O'Malley? Do I have to choose? Um, let's see. I mean, if I have to choose my favorite, probably Mark Summers. Let's see. Which of the Family Guy Road 2 specials are your favorite? Um, I've only seen one, and that's the one where Stewie and Brian are traveling around the world so that Stewie can go perform in that preschool show with the Mary Poppins like lady. So that's the only one I've seen. So yeah, I don't know any others. What are your thoughts on Bill Nye, Beakman, and Mr. Wizard? I love those shows, really do. Do you think that there'll ever be another science themed host driven show? I hope there will. That would be kind of cool if there was another show like that. So yeah, I mean, I love those shows as well. I'm hoping that maybe there'll be another one for the new generation. Let's see. Final question before I go. You saw that montage of clips from Picky Malinky uploaded to their YouTube channel. From that montage, what are your expectations for that show? looks interesting. That's all I have to say about it. It looks interesting. I don't really have too much to say about it other than it just looks interesting. I don't know how it's going to be as a Nicktoon, but yeah, that's all I have to say. What are your thoughts on Garfield and Friends and other cartoons that constantly break the fourth wall? Love that show. Yeah, really love Garfield and Friends. Not too crazy about the Garfield show. I remember seeing like a handful of episodes once, mostly because I found out that what was it? Wally Wingard was the voice of John. I wanted to see, his performance, and then I saw the Garfield show, and I thought it was pretty boring. I mean, it didn't have like the fun spontaneity and the fourth wall breaking jokes that Garfield and Friends had. So, really loved that show as a kid. What are your thoughts on Power Rangers? I remember seeing Power Rangers like Mighty Morphin when I was a kid, and I watched it all the way up until like they did the switch of the new characters, and I was like, I'm done. So yeah, I've never really been a crazy Power Rangers fan. Yeah, so I've never seen any of those outside of those two. So yeah, I saw the appeal of it, but it just wasn't my thing. Have you heard about the new That's So Raven show that's happening? Do you like Disney idea bringing old shows back for the new generation? It's an interesting idea. It's a really interesting idea. I mean, it's kind of like passing the torch. So I like the idea. As for the That's So Raven show, I did hear about it, but I never really seen that show. I mean, I do know about its existence. I know it's about like Raven Simone having like psychic powers, but I really don't know anything about that other than just watching the clips and maybe like watching an episode or two to see what it was about. But it looks interesting. Um, let's see. Have you watched Puka? The when the Jetix network was on? No, never seen it. Do you like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show in a so bad it's good kind of way? It's funny at points, but it's a little bit silly for my tastes. But yeah, it's all right. Have you ever seen House of Mouse? Yes, I have seen House of Mouse. I know. I have seen the show. I really like it. I do like the fact that it's kind of like the Disney shorts that they used to show in like the 30s and 40s. It's kind of like the next generation of that, and like a whole bunch of Disney characters gathering up together. That's kind of like well, I think when did that show came out? It was like 2002 or 3, I think. It was kind of like, that whole concept was like kind of like pre-Kingdom Hearts, which is see all of these Disney characters joining up together. But yeah, I mean, I know my friend Tim, aka Disney Fan 12. He's a huge fan of that show. He loves that show so much. 2001. Okay, so it did come out before Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, before Kingdom Hearts, that was kind of like the only way we were able to see the Disney characters together. So yeah, what is your favorite Toon Disney cartoon show? Toon Disney. If you're talking about like stuff from the Disney afternoon, let's see: Ducktales, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, Gargoyles, Tailspin. Um, let's see. Yeah, those are my favorites. I remember seeing the Aladdin TV show a lot when I was a kid because I really liked the movies. Um, but other than that, as I mentioned before, I don't like Gargoyles, Goliath Chronicles. I don't like Bonkers the Bobcat when I was a kid. I've never seen the Mighty Mucks. I mean, Mighty Ducks, Mighty Ducks cartoon. I really don't like Schnookums and Meat. And Timon and Pumbaa. I've only seen like bits and pieces of it. I've never seen the whole thing. And I remember one time that when I was a kid, my dad actually rented me the Little Mermaid TV series from the video store. And I actually saw like a handful of episodes. I remember watching the one where Ariel adopts the whale, the baby whale. And then there was the one where she meets up with Urchin, the boy, the merman, well, boy character. But other than that, those are the ones that really stick out to me. Anyway, I will be right back. I am going to grab myself some water. Hey everyone, I'm back. Sorry about that. I am just getting some water. And yes, the water is good. I'm gonna drink some right now. Okay. Favorite Disney film from the Renaissance era? I guess it depends on which one because there's like, well, a lot of people claim that it's like two Renaissance eras, but I think you're referring to like the one from the 80s and 90s. Let's see. There's probably it'd probably be Beauty and the Beast. Will probably be my favorite one from the Renaissance era. Have I seen Slime Time Live or You Pick Live? Yes, I have. I've seen both of them. I remember when they were on TV a lot of the time. So, yeah, I have seen both of them. What is the worst movie I've ever seen? Uh, Worst movie I've ever seen. Hand of Manos. That's the worst movie I've ever seen. I remember when I saw Hand of Manos when I was in college. It was so terrible and pretty much unwatchable. The only way I can be able to watch that movie nowadays is if I watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 riff on it. Since Disney is rebooting DuckTales next year, what Disney in the Afternoon show would you like to see reboot it? Gargoyles. I would love to see Gargoyles come back and actually, complete the story it was supposed to. Worst TV show ever? Worst TV show ever. I don't. I'm not sure. Let's see. Worst TV show ever. Probably all those reality shows. I really don't like those reality shows. Like all those reality shows that says like, I'm finding all these like like those has-been celebrities who are saying like, I'm finding these 20 women and I'm gonna see which one is gonna be my love, and they pretty much never stick to it. And that's basically just a massive waste of time. But yeah, I really don't like reality shows. I think they're stupid. I mean, there have been a handful of reality shows that I really do like watching, but they're very, very rare, few and far between. Do you think Nicktoons, the channel, will ever be brought back from the dead or maybe become the Splat? I have no idea. If you're referring to the Nicktoons network, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that maybe something will come out of it because the Nicktoons network is just basically like, all those other shows that Nickelodeon doesn't want to air anymore, and they just basically put it there. So, yeah. I heard you're starting a new podcast with your friend thanks to channel Frederator. It's not thanks to Frederator. We thought about this podcast long before we were partnered up with Frederator. We're hoping to start it off maybe at the beginning of next year. Have I ever seen Project Runway? Yes, I have seen Project Runway, and I mean, it's basically like you have a whole bunch of people making dresses and stuff like that. I'm not too crazy about it. What are your thoughts on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends? I really like the show. I actually have a picture of Mac, Blue, and Cheese autographed courtesy of Candy Milo. So, yeah, I do like the show. You said you were going to talk about your favorite Angry Beavers episode. What is your favorite then? I haven't decided on what my favorite is yet. What was the most popular show when you were in elementary school? For me, it was Dragon Ball Z. Popular show in elementary school. Elementary school it was in the early 90s. So it definitely was the Nicktoons. SWATcast, the Radical Squadron. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures. Power Rangers was a huge thing. So yeah, those were like the most popular ones that really that really pops into my mind. Have I ever seen 3-2-1 Penguins? No, I've never even heard of it. Shamix, I see that you're doing a whole bunch of spamming again. If you keep that up, I'm gonna have to block you. What is your thought on Boomerang? The channel rebranded that they don't play any old shows anymore. I don't have Boomerang on my cable provider, so I don't know what the new direction that they've been doing, but if that's the case in which they don't air like the old shows anymore, that's a shame. Because when I did have Boomerang, I remember that they aired like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So If they're not doing that anymore, that's really sad, because I remember that's what Boomerang was. It was about airing the old shows. That when Cartoon Network was starting the new shows, then when Cartoon Network was just starting, they acquired all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons and they would run them over and over again until they started creating their own unique cartoons. And then when the cartoons became more popular, they moved the old ones over to Boomerang. So if they're not doing that anymore, then that's really sad. Favorite character from Rocko's Modern Life? I love all the characters from Rocko. I mean, Rocko's a great character. I love Heifer, Filbert. Dr. Hutchison is a lot of fun. The big heads are crazy. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of characters that I really like. My favorite Nicktoon character. Oh boy, that's really hard. There are a lot of characters that I really do like. I mean, Helga's my favorite Hey Arnold character. Lois is my favorite As Told by Ginger character. Jenny's my favorite My Life as a Teenage Robot character. Snap is my favorite Chalk Zone character. Stimpy's my favorite character from the Ren and Stimpy show. Tommy's my favorite Rugrats character. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of characters that I really do like. Let's see. What is my favorite Cartoon Network characters, old and new? Let's see. Characters old and new. Let's see. I love the Powerpuff Girls. Buttercup has been my favorite Powerpuff Girl as a kid. Let's see. Dexter. Let's see. There's Dexter. There's the Justice Friends. They're fun. Monkey, the superhero monkey guy is really cool. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. There's I really like Grimm from the Grimm Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I really like him. Billy's so lovably stupid. Mandy, I'm not too crazy about. I just find her to be a little bit too mean and sadistic. Let's see. The Kids Next Door characters, I like number 1, number 5, number 86. The Delightful Children from Down the Lane are creepy as hell. But they're so fun. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of let's see, there's some for Chowder, I like Chowder, Mung. Yeah, there's and then there's new characters. I like Finn and Jake, Mordecai and Rapey are fun. Let's see, Steven and the let's see who else, like the Crystal Gems. I haven't decided which Crystal Gem is my favorite. I mean, it's a tie between Garnet and Pearl, especially with Pearl with the more recent episodes. Let's see. Yeah, that's all I can think of. What was the worst year for Nickelodeon? I mean, I already stated before that kind of like 2006 was kind of like the beginning of the end, because they aired no new Nicktoons that year. The movies that they did air were kind of and they aired Mr. Meaty. 2007 was where I felt that Nickelodeon was running out of ideas. And then you have just, yeah, I mean, as time went on, it just gradually became a little worse. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know, but I really wasn't too crazy about. It's like those times, like around the late 2000s. If you had a Nicktoon character, who would you like to date? I don't really see myself dating cartoon characters, but I don't really know. Have you ever seen Making Fiends, the Nickelodeon show? No, I've never seen it. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, well, I'm waiting for the questions to come in. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Patricia, I live in Canada. We have Nick, but it's outdated. Every day at 5 p.m. they play Figure It Out, new and old, and some original Nicktoons like Ren and Stimpy. They play these all day in Canada. Oh, they do, huh? Oh, I mean, that's kind of interesting. I really am interested about what Canada is featuring on their, their lineup on Nickelodeon. Have I seen the Polar Express? Yes, I have seen the Polar Express. I have seen it multiple times. It's a really good movie. Probably not one of my like definitive Christmas movies, but it's really good. I do like it. So yeah, I would love to know from all of you. I love to know about what have been your favorite, stuff that I've been posting over the past 5 years. Let me know about what your favorite blog articles, blog interviews, podcasts, podcast interviews, and videos are. Because if you don't know, throughout this week, I've been posting up a lot of these stuff on my blog. I've been posting up the blog articles and the blog interviews. And when I'm done with this Q&A, I'm going to be posting up what my favorite podcast interviews are. I mean, not podcast interviews, podcast episodes. So I'd love to know from you guys. I'd love to know about what your favorites have been so far. What do you think Nick has a show that can replace SpongeBob and the Fairly Odd Parents? I've already mentioned this before, but it's definitely Loud House. It's the most successful out of the Nicktoons that I have seen over the past couple of years. So yeah, I think if Nickelodeon is thinking about, no longer doing anything with SpongeBob, I think that it would definitely be the Loud House. It's definitely a lot more successful than Harvey Beaks has been. Okay, let's see what you got so far. The End says that the Thanksgiving special has been his favorite. Are you talking about the video about me talking about Nick's Thanksgiving Fest? Yeah, that was really good. I remember when I talked about that about a year ago, when I was discussing about Nick's Thanksgiving Fest. I wanted to delve more into it because that was when the Splat was airing it for the first time in almost 20 years or 25 years at this point. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that one. That podcast is awesome. Yes, I really do enjoy that. That was the first time that the cartoon hero was a guest. And we talked about the old original run of all that as well as the revival era. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one. But yeah, I love to know from everybody else what have been your favorite. My favorite video of yours has been the As Told by Ginger ones. Awesome. I'm really proud of my As Told by Ginger videos as well. I definitely the ones that I'm the most proud of was the top 15 As Told by Ginger episodes and my analysis video on why As Told by Ginger was groundbreaking and overlooked. I'm working on a Nick Studios in Minecraft. I sent you an email and I tried to send you some pics. It's really amazing. Well, that should be really interesting to see. But yeah, definitely I will be doing a video talking about, I mean, not a video. I'll be doing a blog article about what my favorite videos have been throughout this week. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, then please let me know. If you guys have any more, you know, comments about like what have you been your favorite, what you call it, my favorite, blogs and podcasts and videos, then let me know. Have you watched Ben the Looney? No, I've never seen his stuff. Sorry. I know that James from the Reopen Nickelodeon Studios page does watch him, but I've never seen him. Do you think Hey Arnold will become a show again? If the Jungle movie does successful, then Craig Bartlett is hoping about doing a revival series, but we'll just have to see what happens. I do like Foster's, but I feel like it can be very mean-spirited at times due to Blue acting like a selfish, arrogant jerk. Yeah, that's probably my major gripe with the TV series is that Blue is such a mean-spirited jerk. But the creativity of the show is so amazing. Like, imagine your imaginary friend coming to life. That is such an amazing idea. Let's see. Have you watched a show called Animation Look Back? Animation Look Back, was that a TV show? Like, I do remember that on Cartoon Network they used to air these like programs in which they would talk about like various Looney Tunes and MGM cartoons, and they would talk about like the behind the scenes stuff. If that's what the show is, then yes, I do remember seeing that when I was a kid. I remember they would talk like behind the scenes stuff about the cartoons and, like the Chuck Jones cartoons and the Tex Avery cartoons. Oh, it's on the internet. Then no, I've never seen it. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap things up because it's starting to get it's starting to get a little late over here. So I'm just gonna wrap things up and then get some dinner, and then afterwards finish up my top 20 Herald episodes list, as well as the blog article about what my favorite podcast episodes were. I say my favorite podcast is the Yu-Gi-Oh one with the cartoon hero and Media Hunter. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Media Hunter was the one who basically spoke about all this stuff because, I didn't know anything outside of the original series. But yeah, that was fun. Um, let's see, the podcast on Pete and Pete is awesome. Yes, that was a really awesome one. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with that one as well. It was Jim and Kevin and Alex and his brother Nick. Hold on, I think I may have a phone call. Oh, I'll pick that up later. Okay, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's see. Yeah, we're talking about our favorite episodes and our favorite characters. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. No, sorry, it was hosted by Animat, if you ever heard of him. Yes, I have heard of Animat. I do know that James, aka Jaime Tude, does a lot of stuff with him. So I have heard of his stuff, but I've never seen any of his stuff. Sorry. Have I ever watched Class of 3000 and Dave the Barbarian? Class of 3000, no. Dave the Barbarian, I think I've only seen once. What is my favorite Christmas special? My favorite Christmas special, that's really tough. I mean, the Hey Arnold Christmas special really means a lot to me, really close to my heart. There's a lot of Christmas movies that I really do love, like It's a Wonderful Life and White Christmas and let's see, Christmas Carol. But yeah, but if you want to know, like the Hey Arnold one is really special to me. I'm going to be doing a video on it really soon. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day. So I just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to the 5th year anniversary live stream Q&A. I really do appreciate all that stuff that you guys have been doing over the past couple of years, whether it's sharing the stuff or just leaving a comment. I really do appreciate it. Oh, I know this doesn't count, but I really like Nick at 35, except for the few mistakes, like not talking about Danny Phantom and Taina in part 4. That's why we did the Nick at 35 leftovers, because, I mean, there were so many shows to talk about that it pretty much just got, like, way past us, so I apologize. As for what Nick is doing lately with the Splat, do you think they'll do a Nick Studios reunion at the Blue Man Group? I don't think so. Thank you so much for doing this. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you as well. And I want to thank you guys so much for everything. And I'm glad that you're able to join me on this 5th year anniversary live stream Q&A. And there will be some awesome stuff coming later on throughout this week to end the year off. And as well as some awesome stuff coming in for next year. The stuff that will be coming in is the top 20 Hey Arnold episodes, and there's the Hey Arnold Christmas special analysis video. Merry Hanukkah to you too. And also, there will be the last casual chats for 2016. I'm going to tell you what it is. It is going to be about the Rankin Bass specials. We're going to be talking about all 19 Rankin Bass Christmas specials in honor of the holiday. So, yep. That's going to be coming up sometime around the Christmas holidays. So thank you guys so much. And thank you for, just thank you for everything. Thank you for being here for all these 5 years. And if you haven't been here for 5 years, then thank you so much for coming in whenever that you were here. So thank you, and hope to see you around soon, and have yourselves a very happy holiday, and hope you have yourselves a really good 2017. So good night and take care.